So we're all tired of this pandemic, no question about it. But it seems to be going on and on, mainly because of some false impressions that we hold true today that are no longer true. I'm going to give you the top 5 wrong ideas prolonging this pandemic.
Top 5 with Dr. Dave.
Top 5, top 5, top 5.
Wrong idea number 1. I already had COVID-19, so I should be good. Newsflash, you can be reinfected with COVID-19, and there is no limit to the amount of times that you can be reinfected. I have a patient in my clinic that has had it 4 separate times, separated by enough time so we know it's not the same infection, and with 4 separate positive tests. The problem with this is each successive infection, she had fewer and fewer symptoms, so she didn't know she had it and was out in the community with her guard down, without a mask, spreading the infection. And the last part to her I said was, we still have no idea what reinfection with multiple infections of COVID-19 is going to do to the body long term. Wrong idea number 2. I'm fully vaccinated and boosted. I shouldn't have to wear a mask. Can we stop saying this? Can we stop saying this? I want you to look down at my Instagram post from February 2021. And at that time, as the vaccine was being rolled out, I said to you that the vaccine does not prevent you from being infected. It prevents you from getting very sick. Here's the issue. Vaccinated people are very much less likely to have any symptom whatsoever. And if they have them, they're not going to be recognizable most times. So what happens is you go out without your mask, you have the infection, and you pass the infection to a more vulnerable person. Why do you think we had over 800,000 infections in one day recently? That's because many of those people were boosted, many more had their vaccines, but still carried the virus without a symptom whatsoever. Remember, the vaccine protects you from serious illness, hospitalization, and death. It does not protect the person who is more vulnerable than you. Wrong idea number 3. I don't have any underlying conditions, so if I get it, I should be okay. First off, many people don't know if they truly have underlying conditions because they haven't seen a doctor in years. But if in fact you are in that number who has no underlying condition, it does distinguish you, but not in the way that you think it does. I will admit that the vast majority of people, especially in this trial here, who do really poorly from COVID-19 are people who have at least one underlying condition. That means 5% of the people who do poorly had no recognizable underlying condition. On January 28th, 3,769 people died of COVID-19. 5% of that number means 188 people who had no recognizable underlying condition died from COVID-19. The problem is we don't know how to identify those people. Wrong idea number 4. The Omicron variant is less deadly. Says who? Have you looked at the numbers? Go and look at the numbers of the people who died in the United States on Saturday. If you look at that number, it almost directly matches the peak of the pandemic in 2021 from the Delta variant. Don't fall for the statistical gymnastics. Don't let the percentages fool you. It is not less deadly. Wrong idea number 5. I had a cold, I had a headache, but my rapid test was negative. So stop for a second. If you have a cold and a headache and things like fatigue, I want you to act as though you have COVID-19. It doesn't matter what the rapid test shows. We know that the rapid test can have many, many flaws and what we call false negatives. In other words, it can say that you don't have the disease when you really do have the disease. I want you to put your mask on, stay away from your loved ones and people who you don't know. Go get a PCR test. And until you get the result of the PCR test, don't go around anybody. One of the problems with the current pandemic is that the symptoms can be so mild with the current variant that you don't know you have it. And when you go out, you spread it. Don't do that. Don't be a part of the problem. Think about it.
Top 5 with Dr. Dave.
Top 5, top 5, top 5.